Hello everyone. So today I thought I'll probably talk about Atlassian consultation, and the thing that I want to talk about is more on the lines of communication, or I should say lack of confidence or being afraid. So basically, if you are a consultant, let us say you are a Jira admin and you want to do consultation, and you basically have to talk to people. And when you talk to people, you have to basically talk to basically anyone in your organization or team. Basically, that person could be CEO, CTO, program manager, project manager, developer. So basically, if you are thinking of becoming a consultant, or if you are responsible for maintaining not just Jira as a tool, but also dictating and creating some standards around Jira, then you will have to learn how to effectively communicate with everyone. And of course, it is not just about communication skills. It is also about being confident about your skills and what you are going to suggest to them. And one thing that I want to highlight, and that is actually the focus of this video, I want to say that don't be afraid of asking stupid questions, because when you are dealing with people, when you're dealing with people from different levels, they will speak maybe a bit different language, and don't assume anything. For example, if you're talking to, let us say, a developer. Now the developer will probably, if you have, let us say, a development background, then you might be able to figure out, or you might be able to have a conversation with that person who is basically just writing code, or maybe doing some architecture work. And if you are talking to that person, then that person might use some terms that may or may not be obvious to you. So ask those questions. And this should be your approach. Don't ever assume anything. And I'm telling this because I'm sharing this because when I started doing Atlassian consultation, when I started talking to people, I realized this early on, that if you assume something, then things can go wrong. And when someone is saying that, okay, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, let us say approval or some kind of, let us say, toll gate. So you might not know each and everything, because they might use some corporate terms or some project management words that maybe you never really heard of, or maybe you just need more clarity, because sometimes these words can have different meanings based on who is talking about it. For example, if you're saying that, okay, I need a sign off. Now, a sign off could be an email. A sign off could be an entire process in itself. Maybe in that organization, a sign off basically means that you have to sign a document. It may not be the actual signature, but basically a Word document or some document, and that sign off would be offline. And maybe you want to use Jira to get a sign off, or maybe you don't want to use Jira, but you just want to make it very clear that, okay, if you're talking about some system where Jira will do few things, and you can of course track a lot of these things in Jira, then what exactly is the meaning of sign off? What exactly is the meaning of these toll gates, and how you're going to translate it in the tool? And of course, when you're asking these questions that you are probably not aware of, or maybe you are hearing it for the very first time, or maybe in the company where you're working as an Atlassian consultant, maybe in that company that definition might be a bit different, because when it comes to software development, there is no real standard, right? Even the concept of agile is not really well defined. People do agile in their own way. So whenever you're trying to build a system in Jira, make sure you know what you're doing based on your interaction with everyone. For example, if you're talking to the product manager, then ask them, what is your expectation from the tool? What exactly you would be doing when it comes to doing some product management in the tool, and agree on an approach. And don't assume that when they're saying okay they will do a sign off, don't assume that sign off would be in Jira. It could be just a sign off offline. And one thing that I wanted to ask you is, or not ask you, or share with you, is that because when you're talking to people, make notes, make plenty of notes, like document each and everything. And this is what I normally do. In the beginning, when you're trying to capture everything, just make plenty of notes, and also try to figure out and build somewhere. It could be a notepad or somewhere in your notes, or maybe a note like an actual notepad. Write down the roles and responsibilities of those people, because when they are dealing with things, when they're interacting with others, or when they're using a tool like Jira, you need to be very sure. You need to basically communicate and tell them or ask them what exactly you're going to do and what all you can do in Jira. Because if you are a Scrum Master, then it should be defined in the process that a Scrum Master would own, let us say, a backlog along with some BAs or some owners. So there should be some defined roles, and you can't really do each and everything in Jira from the tools point of view. But as long as there is some clear understanding, or there is an agreement on who owns these epics or stories or backlog or sprints, so this should be well defined. And in the beginning, when you're trying to roll out, or when you're trying to basically build something, if you're not really sure, because when you're trying to capture the requirements to build something in Jira, you may not be able to capture each and everything perfectly in one go. So my recommendation would be to build not even an MVC, MVP, not MVC. Why I'm saying MVC, model view controller. I'm talking about MVP. Build a POC, not an MVP. POC is something to gain trust and to validate and to show them, okay, this is how you will do things. And it may not be always straightforward, because when you talk to people and when you implement it in Jira, people usually don't really connect, because they are just looking at your face and you're talking about something. When you show them something in the tool, then it makes much more sense. So these are a few things that I wanted to talk about today. I mean, of course, I'm talking about, I'm just sharing my experience, and I'm trying to share how, as an Atlassian consultant, or maybe as a consultant, it's not really related to Atlassian or Jira, but hopefully I've given you some ideas, because if you're thinking of building a career or entering this ecosystem, then you will have to improve your communication skills / confidence / I don't really want to say be arrogant, but be firm, know your stuff. And if you know how Jira works, I think that is the core. If you know how Jira works, then slowly and gradually, when you do more implementations, you will actually know more than the actual project managers and Scrum Masters. Because of course, I'm not talking about doing their work, but if you are a Jira consultant, and if you are a good experienced Jira consultant, then you're also a project manager, then you're also a product manager, you're also a Scrum Master, you know your stuff. Of course, I'm not really talking about the people part of it, because you can do things in Jira, but you can only do things in Jira. You can't really replace the actual people management skills. But I'm talking about skills that you may or may not be an expert on. I'm talking about non-Jira skills, like management skills, but you should at least know a lot about what these people do in different situations and different kind of projects. Because many people, when they ask you questions, and they will ask you questions if you're a Jira consultant, that Ravi, my sprint is getting delayed, and I want to report on or I want to basically report on things that I committed but I was not able to deliver, and if I move it to the next sprint, then what will happen? Can I report it somewhere? They will probably ask you questions like, okay, that person is now on leave, what should I do? So basically you will get asked a lot of those questions, which are purely project managerial kind of questions, but you need to know how you can achieve that using the tool. And sometimes, and in fact, lot of times, there is no real thing there is no solution. There is no actual thing that you can do in the tool itself. But you should know that in that case, in that situation, in that particular scenario, you can't really do anything in Jira. Just let it be. So these things you will learn with experience. And in the beginning, of course, focus on your Jira core skills. But at the same time, learn how to talk and communicate with others. And don't be afraid to ask questions. And don't assume anything. All right, that is it. Enough for today. I hope I've given you some ideas, and I hope you found this video useful. Thank you very much.